Hello everyone and welcome to another replay review, this time featuring the Attacker FB1. This was kindly requested by Ike and I believe Waffles from the 7th MD Discord server. I'm going to show a couple examples of my decision making and how I find to be the best way to play this thing and its strengths and weaknesses and how you can be effective whilst flying this thing. Here's a pretty nifty reversal against an LA200 which just really made a lot of mistakes. My opinion of this plane, it's not spectacular. It is a Sous chef. It is not the main stage. It's not the main performance, not the main show, but it definitely needs to be there, and it supports, right? It is a very good assist plane. Very good for being around, having positional advantage, supporting your teammates, and baiting when necessary and confirming kills later on. You cannot throw this thing into dogfights and expect it to come out on top. There's another funny kill. Arado, I killed him earlier. He turns okay with flaps, specifically with flaps. His guns, his spun about 5s, very good with the right belts, air targets. He rolls fine, he compresses quite badly, but the main thing here is the engine power and the speed. He's quite fast for a 7.0 jet, and he accelerates decently well, like low to mid speed. So you're able to out-energy a lot of your opponents. Here I'm taking pop shots at the Yak-15 just to try and figure out where these guns are going, because for the life of me, I'm used to Hispano-Mach 5s. I couldn't name them very well with this thing. I really don't know what it was. Maybe it was wing-mounted, maybe it was the speeds that we were flying at, a little slower than normal. I don't know. But I really struggle to aim with these things. But, yeah, he's okay. He's perfectly fine when you maximize your advantage before going into fights. You cannot expect to be surprised and then, you know, come out on top just because the plane is goated. It's not goated, but it's definitely manageable. It's not bad. Not bad at all. It's just one of the most planes I've ever played, right? It's a very plane. So here, I've established myself at a good amount of altitude, and I'm trying to assist my teammate Ike here, whilst I'm leading him, leading an LA9 to him, actually. And I'm going to try and help him with the Yak-15, because the Yak-15 is dangerous as all hell. It is a little UFO. It's basically a mini B, but not rocket. You know, BI, the Russian thing. I'm going to keep my position here and hopefully try and get a shot on the Yak-15, but I'm not entirely sure if I'll be able to do that before the LA9 catches me or Ike. Ike goes for the LA9. I don't really know how it goes, but I decided I'd rather support my teammate Ike. See LA9 coming from me, and I'm going to pull up under his nose, force him downwards. He takes some shots, he misses, extend away, put myself as far away as I can between me and that LA9 before I extend, and I'm going to outrun these guys eventually. And here's sort of seeing what I can do. He's at a great altitude advantage. Yak-15 goes up for him. He falls for the head-on. They both eat shit. So sorry, Ike. This is the second time you have fallen. Rest in ripperonis. It's so valiant death, to be honest. It's a very valiant death. Which means I only have to deal with this LA9 that's below me, which is pretty easy pickings. He's a great plane, but in this situation, I have the energy, I have the altitude, I have the speed, I have everything that I want, and I'm perfectly capable, you know, taking this guy down. Again, I'm learning these guns. I'm completely stuck in this match, so the belts are also terrible. These are default. It was horrendous, dude. But crit him pretty bad. Again, reestablish my position. Go straight back up into altitude. Normally, with jets, especially early jets, you want to keep as much speed as possible, right? Because you can go faster than you can go in altitude. Like, you can go faster than you can go higher, okay? So you always want to be faster because your kinetic energy will always be greater than your potential energy. You're not going to be able to climb very much in these things. But in this case, the LA9 is definitely below me, and I just need to maximize energy in any way. So if I can't immediately gain my speed back, I don't want to just piss it away with a turn to the left or the right. I want to store as much of it as possible back into altitude so I can use it later. So I go up to turn instead of left or right. Yeah, we're going to look at this Key 84 here in front of me, see his sort of focus on the other guys. I'm going to decide who I can pick on. Again, opportunistic. You're picking your fights. Key 84 goes below me, LA9 right in front of me. Take the shots. Nice severe. This plane, you're picking your fights and you're being very picky with it, and you're opportunistic. You're like a vulture. You don't do the main fighting, but you certainly take reap the rewards afterwards, right? You're coming in to swoop the kills last second. And also just be there positionally for your teammates. Support. There's another crit. Making sure that F4UB doesn't die to that 2v1. He ends up being a great help later on, actually, so that was some good teamwork there. Now I know I'm completely alone. I established myself in altitude again because I'm confident in my ability to gain speed decently quickly, if needed be. I'm not going to let myself get below 500-ish, like, you know, maybe 450 at least, but, you know, As long as you keep a bit of speed with you, you'll be fine. LA9 surprises me out of nowhere. Well, this is the exact situation that I was thinking of, but he's very fast. Look at him. Look at that distance tick down. So I'm going to dive down and gain as much speed as possible whilst also turning to make sure that he sees the distance between us tick down and he stays engaged. I do not want him to lose interest. And I want to get him so fast that where he maybe is unable to respond to a tight turn with flaps like this. Pull my flaps, pull my air brake. I want to slow down as soon as possible. He disengages. I nearly lose my pilot. He re-engages. I pull over his nose. I'm just trying to get the overshoot is, pull out my flaps and my air brakes. He pulls up. I'm trying to stall and lead the shot. Predict where he's going to be as I stall. Nice shot. Only a hit. I take his flap. And here I experiment. My first game ever in the attacker. I want to see if I can turn with this guy. I couldn't quite tell. And now I can. I'm definitely not out-turning that guy. So I neg G last second to avoid the shot. Pull underneath him. He doesn't get it. And now, I'm confident that I'm going to be able to pull away. He did a lot of maneuvers there, and I'm now back at 560. He's not catching me. Especially not with that hit that I gave him. Puts a couple bot shots. Kinda dangerous with those 23s, but he doesn't get him, and he pulls off for the F4U. I immediately establish myself in altitude once I realize he's doing unnecessary maneuvers. Well, necessary to dodge him, but not necessary for me. So he's losing speed and losing energy, and I'm just establishing it right back into altitude again, and keeping myself close so I can react in time, hopefully, and support this F4U when I can. I don't want to leave him in an elongated dogfight with this guy in case the F4U fucks up. LA9 doesn't go for the head-on. Take plenty of time with this. All the time in the world. Confirm the kill. Keep the F4U alive, and I thank him for the bait. Heinkel 162, going very fast. I need to establish myself in speed right now and maybe bait him to a reversal. I don't want him to lose interest in me like the LA9. So I'll pull myself in front of him, which is way more risky than normal. Hopefully to maybe give him a little bit of sugar and bait him up, but he doesn't fall for it. Goes straight for the F4U. Look at that, he's not that fast actually. He avoids the F4U, he pulls up in front of me, and I take a couple plot shots. Ah, just a hit. Just a hit. And I only have 36 rounds and 1 minute 50 of fuel. And he's running towards our airfield. So hopefully, if he turns around in front of me, maybe I can catch him. I can get a final shot and secure it for the game. But I'm not sure. I need to be saved. I need to save these ammunition. The 36 rounds I do have. I've not been very what's the word? Not been very careful, conservative. I've sort of been very liberal with the way I'm spending this ammunition. Here I'm catching him, and he realizes, so he tries to dive down, gain a bit of speed, but it's not worth it. It's not going to do anything. I'm too fast, simply. This is a very fast plane at this BR. So he's forced to turn in front of me, and he kind of just does it poorly, but I just can't pull the lead. I'm not used to these guns and this platform. And I don't have the fuel to recommit, so I'm going to have to leave him with the Corsair. I apologize profusely for the Corsair for leaving with him and let him know that I'm out of fuel. I probably could have stuck around for a little bit longer, considering how, we might have stuck with the Corsair, but it was too hard to tell, and I would rather save myself for later on. I'm confident in my ability to face a 162, given I'm the last person alive on my team. And eventually I am. They do a little bit of a tussle near his airbase, and therefore you losers, sadly. So I go back and rearm. And here I find myself using the map to point out that he actually went to rearm at his mini-base, like a fool! With no anti-air, I'm able to take advantage of that and base strafe him. And I know it seems scummy, but you can just go to the main base. He wouldn't have had as little fuel as I did. He didn't have to. He wasn't under pressure, or he could have just gone back, but he didn't. So I'm perfectly happy with taking this advantage because, again, I'm trying to win the game here. I'm trying to win it for my teammates. I'm trying to show decision making. If he'd have gone back to his main base, it's been a lot tougher on me. But no, he's down on energy, down on altitude, and he presents himself. There's not much he can do there. He just pulled up in front of me. There's nothing you really can do in that situation. So, but yeah, I don't feel remorseful for this. I would understand if I picked the mini base and there's a guy, capable of catching me on the mini base. Just don't do that. You could just land at the main base. Anyways, we're gonna go into the next match here. Thank you. We're gonna go into the next match here in the attacker here, slightly more upgraded than the last time. Find this very tasty looking Arado. I use them for target practice. I'm trying to get used to these guns at this plane. I don't know why I'm struggling so much. Need a bit more than I'm used to. Works out quite well. Okay, I'll take note of that. He ends up getting the bomb off, but it doesn't really matter what he does. See the 262 behind me here? This is a perfect example of the fight you do want to take. He doesn't seem much faster than I am. I have a lot more altitude than he does, and I'm perfectly safe. There is no other enemy within radius that is not already engaged by a friendly and, tussled up with someone. I'm completely free to take this guy. opportunistic. I'm taking the fight that I know I can win. I'm not going to go head over heels into the furball and, you know, get up shit creek without a paddle. So he goes for the head on. I you know, briefly shoot and pull away. Immediately, you don't want to stick it. I realize that's the narwhal with the 50 mil. So I'm just going to extend away. He takes a shot. It's kind of close. Close enough to trigger the sound effect. And I just pull him upwards. I've got so much more energy than him. I had altitude, remember? So, pull him back up. Go head over heels. Immelman. Hopefully baiting him up. And I'm just keeping close eye on his nose. I don't want to pull into him and force a head on. So I'm delaying my turn to the left, you see. To not immediately force the head on. And see as his nose drops there. I'm able to get the shot. But who's that? Who's that stealing my kill? It's an F7F. He's being opportunistic also, and I completely understand, to be honest. The F7F is a struggle bus to play. Not at all entertaining whatsoever. Anyways, we got a few kills. We're going to go back into the match. We're going to keep our speed up, like a little jet would. We're going to look at the situation. There's an SU-9 in front of me, and he looks very slow. And it looks like the teammates are not really having the best time in actually securing that kill for whatever reason. And he seems very close to me. And look at the contrails on his wingtips. He is going quite slow. And that P-51 is actually miles away from him. So I'm just going to pull up with my superior speed right now and go for the shot. I'm perfectly free to. I'm not in danger. I'm not interrupting anything. This is a free kill. So, again, use this as target practice. I ends up doing quite well. I lead a bit more than normal. Fair enough. That's what I always tell myself with this thing. 262, coming for the head-on. I'm not interested. I just lost all my speed, so I'm going to dive back down. And he pulls off. Very grateful for him doing that. He goes for the F7F Tiger Cat. They head on each other. The 262 kind of eats shit. And with my element now to support the Tiger Cat, the 262 just turns in front of me and allows me to sort of secure the kill also. Which is very kind of him. It's very, very kind of him, honestly. I need to reach my hand out, shake his hand and thank him. Let me shake your hand! I'm in complete safety. I can confirm this kill. I don't mind sticking to this. I've got energy, you know. I'm not going to lose anything by going down here. I'm just trying to get practice with this. So yeah, severe. Pull back up. Everyone else on the enemy team is still pretty low in altitude, so I'm fine. I've got speed. I'm nearly going 700 kilometers an hour. And look at that acceleration. That's pretty good, man. LA9 going up high. I'm looking for the next person on my kill list, right? I'm in my death notebook. Just looking for whoever presents themselves as an easy target. That's all I'm looking for. I'm opportunistic. LA9 goes for me. I pull up under him. Switch sides. Force him to roll. He doesn't get the shot. And I watch him. He's got a lot of speed. He just dives. So I'm going to pull up over his nose. I know I have a decent turn, right? So I pull up the flaps out. I'm just going to take him on a little walk. Right? Drain his balls. Drain his energy with a big, long turn. And look at that. He's now much slower than I am. And I'm still at a pretty good speed. And I just need to extend. And he will eventually get bored because there's a lot of friendlies for him to feast on. There's no need for him to chase me. And eventually he does exactly that. So I immediately put it into an Immelman. Put myself back into altitude. Because again, these guys are slow. He's slow now. I drained his balls. I drained his energy. I can go up. I don't need speed right now. I just need energy. I need to store it some way. I call the attack on the LA9. And I'm watching closely on either of them. Just to make sure that either one doesn't present themselves as an easier target. You're just keeping on a mindful eye. Right? Always looking at your enemies. Never to take your eyes off of them. Never. See the LA9, looking at the distance. He's getting rather close. He's definitely going for me, so I just delay my dive. Pull him up. He ends up being perfect bait with the P51 there. Fantastic secure. Thank you, P51 player. P51H. Very good play. Very, very good play. Then, I watch as this TAR-152 is engaged in a dogfight with the other 51, and he presents a very nice profile for me. I'm able to take them out of that fight. And that's that game. Again, it's pretty boring to watch. There is not much that this plane does that is fantastic, or that you can go in as like the underdog. You're always the underdog, essentially. You just have to be mindful. You have to pick your fights. Really, really have to pick your fights and be picky and just, yeah, you can't throw it around. You really can't. Going into the next, and I believe final game here. I had a pretty good time playing this thing. To be honest, it's completely feasible to do well in it. You just have to listen to the plane, read the situation, establish your advantage early on, or at least before your engagement, and only pick fights you're confident in winning. It can't outturn most things. It can kind of out-energy most things, but given you already gave yourself energy before the fight. If you're caught with your pants down, he's coming for a reach around, right? you're going to get pegged. So here we're looking at these A2Ds, and they're not really opportune targets. They're too low. Everyone else is already going for them. There's no need for me to waste my altitude here. And I'm at a pretty good altitude. 262. Just reading the room. And I see a lot of guys on my right there with some teammates. And a lot of guys on my left with not teammates. I would rather go to the ones with my teammates because I can play around my teammates. It's not just me for them to target. They're more likely to target maybe someone else, which gives me space to breathe and reassign my advantage. You know, reacquire that. Horn 229. I abuse his lack of rudder by pulling along the direction of his wings. Because he can't use his rudder to counteract that. Because he doesn't have one. He turns very tightly, but, you know, he can't turn if you're not letting him turn with positive pitch. Right? So I extend away after making him slow. He's just dropping back. He's like a, you know, a brick shithouse. And I extend away. He ends up being bait for the meteor there, and he confirms a good few hits. And eventually does get the kill. F-80 in front of me. Wants to head on? Sure, I'll take a couple pot shots, but you don't stick. Never stick. Evade underneath. You always sort of want to be underneath your opponent if you're trying to evade. It's the easiest place to, what's the hardest place to maneuver your plane to whilst aiming. So that's where you want to be. Roughly. There's a great graph out there. I'll have to pull it up sometime. Again, I'm just sort of keeping an eye on the situation, looking at my teammates, looking at the enemies. Just noticing that Arado up high, diving down. I'm not going to let him get a free shot on me, so again, I pull underneath him. Just secure that I won't get killed. And I'm just, you know, evaluating the situation. Is he going to turn for us? Is he going to come back? Kind of looks like he is, so let's go for the kill. F3D spotted. Be mindful of our altitude. Let's not get too greedy. So I know that the Arado is pulling away from the F3D, so I'm more confident and comfortable getting this kill. Another F3D. A little cheeky there, I can't lie, but, you know, take what you can get. Every shot you don't take is a... You should miss every shot you don't take type shit, right? F3D coming up, and I've got plenty of energy, so in case he goes for me again, I can just extend or go up. I've got a lot of speed here. Perfectly fine. He ends up not doing that. And again, I'm not taking the fight right now. I don't have to. I totally don't have to. I got myself in a good position. I got myself the speed to evade it, and I evaded it. And I'm waiting until it's now a good time for me to come back down on him, which it is, and I am. I probably wouldn't win a turn fight against an F3D, but in that situation, I would. Just because of the way I played it. This is essentially how you play this thing. You know, there's no innate advantage that you have besides energy, and that's entirely dependent on you providing yourself that, giving yourself the time to, you know, to climb, the time to gain speed, giving yourself time to breathe between each engagement. Sorry. Here I'm going for AI F3D because I was still stock and I needed to upgrade him. He was quite sad when he was stock. Yeah, I can't lie, but you know, he as in the attacker, by the way. I call my plane C. That's sweet. Here I see two targets in front of me, the Arado and the F-80. Some formidable opponents, especially the F-80. Try and help out that Meteor. He got a shit rocked, I can't lie. I'm going to go with the Spitfire there to maybe secure some kills. Arado goes to secure it. He does not. Apparently he won't do that. Go for a little bit of a head-on. Again, don't stick it. Just pull away. Pull along his wings. Check. Is he going to stick to me? No, he's not. No, we need to stick to him. The Spitfire's probably got that. Pretty sure he does, and I'm going to pay attention to this F-18 instead. He wants the head-on. I don't really care about the head-on right now, so I'm going to bait him down, bait him close, okay, bait him fast. Pull underneath him again. Hope he turns for me. He doesn't. He goes for the Spitfire. So I just turn back around. Again, yeah, I'm not the brawn of this fight. I am not the main engagement here. But he extends away, and fair enough, right? He had a lot of energy to begin with, and he's faster, I think, in a straight line. But when he starts climbing, he loses that speed pretty quickly, and I'm able to slowly reel him in. Excuse me, I'm just checking his stats, you know. I don't do that very much. I only do that when I realize that people seem to be doing what they're supposed to be. I would have probably just extended as well, right? You don't need to take that fight. Not against a Spitfire. Apparently he's running on minimum graphics and 30 FPS, so I express my sadness towards him, my sorrow. And I feel it, I understand. 30 FPS is just unplayable, dude. I could never. And I slowly start to reel him in. My engine is pretty damn strong, my plane is pretty damn fast, and then it's pretty damn good at climbing. It's not great, but it's certainly better than the F-80 is at this altitude in this situation. So I bide my time. It's boring, I know. It's like watching paint dry. It's like watching grass grow. I'm just slowly reeling him in, checking out, hearing other planes, checking if they're players or AI. Always keeping your head on a swivel. And when I begin to feel like I'm probably close enough to pull for the shot, I will pull my nose up in time. But for now, just reeling him in. Slowly gaining on him. There it is. He pulls. I pull for the shot. He pulls down in front of me. I don't know why he does that. He realizes his mistake and pulls away, but it's too late. I get my shots. It's another lovely kill. And that looks like it's pretty much game for the moment. I check tab to make sure there's no one else left. See who he's around, and I'm checking to see who has bombing points, and that guy doesn't, so he's probably not a bomber. So we still have a fighter on our hands. Okay, cool. Let's establish our position again. Get some speed, keep our altitude, rinse and repeat. Same shit over and over again. Never enter a fight without either speed or altitude. Mainly speed. You always want speed. Altitude you could probably live without sometimes. Sometimes. So here I'm just sort of trying to fly towards the center of the map and spot any black dot that's on my screen that isn't, you know, dried gamer spit over the years on my monitor that I need to clean. War Thunder is like the best game to benchmark how dirty your monitor is. Looks like that's a fighter there. He's going pretty quick. Looks like a player to me, but we're going to have a look because you never know. And there he is. F2H. Oh, goodness. That is a difficult plane to fight. This is probably the best plane you could fly at 7.0 or 7.3, whichever PR it's at. I think it's 7.3. So he's really, really dangerous. And he's kind of my altitude. He's a little bit lower. And he's kind of my speed. We're kind of equal on energy. So I wonder what I can do. And I kind of think about it. Look at that big turn there. He must have lost some speed in that big turn, right? So my idea is to pull him up. But I pull him up too soon, right? Pull him up way too soon and he just doesn't fall for it. You need to give him a bit of sugar. You need to make him feel like it's a feasible shot for them to follow you. And if it's not, the smarter ones will just not fall for it. So I have an advantage here. I have a position, but I don't have many opportunities. I probably have this one, because if I get too fast, I'm going to compress and slam into the ground, because he's way on the deck, right? I don't want to do that, so I will have to slow myself down. So I drop my throttle, pull out a little bit of air brakes, go for the shot. I just don't need enough. A bit of a skill issue. Air brakes in, throttle up to 100%, and I extend away. Try and maybe get a bit of altitude over him. Keep an eye on him. With that big turn there, look at that. Oh, he's like catching me? Ruh-roh, Raggy. That's bad news. And this is where I'm going to present a content warning. Alright? Do not try this at home. The upcoming maneuver, do not do this. In this situation, in an attacker against an F2H, don't try this. I was very lucky, and I was mainly keen to see what the limits of this plane was against other potent aircraft. When I first played this, I thought it was going to be shit. And it surprised me with how not shit it was. It's not good. It's fine. But it's not shit. So I'm trying to wonder, is there anything more that this plane has to offer? What limits can I take it? So I try and stall this guy out, but he delays his nose to pull up, and he gets a lot of shots on me. He gets all the time in the world, and I'm clenching my asshole as tight as possible, and he doesn't get the rudder on. And I get the severe, and he doesn't. He might have got the severe, I don't know, but I'm flyable. I can fly this home. I'm fine. I check on him. Is he going to make it back? I don't want to go for him. There he goes. That flat spin. He's dead. That's it. That was a lot of luck. A lot of luck was required for that shot. Do not try that at home, please. Okay? Warning, just because something you... Yeah, this guy's a fucking... Excuse me. I don't know why he did that. Just because you did something and it worked out doesn't mean that what you did was the right thing to do. Sometimes they either fuck up, because I'm pretty sure that he could have got that shot, he just didn't. But either way, be careful when you do good sometimes. Just really look at it. Was it because of you, or was it because of how bad they were? It ended up coming up to the wire on this match because it was a B-29 at like space, and the tickers were coming down, like 3 minutes left on the match. So I ended up, sending some pot shots at a kilometer 30, ended up getting some nice hits, get the sphere, and I clutch up for the match. So yeah, the attacker FB1, he's very much, in my opinion, a sous chef. You are not the main stage, you're not the main show, but you certainly are required to be there. It's important that you support your teammates. It's important that you apply positional pressure, and you're still doing stuff. You can do stuff. You just got to make sure you're there. But thank you so much all for watching. Really, if you have any more suggestions, please let me know. Message me on Discord or send in the comments on YouTube, because I really would love to make this into a bit of a series for people. If Bronk can do it, maybe so can you. Okay? But thank you so much for watching, and I'll hope to see you all in the next one. Thank you.